let's go back. Like, I could vomit about paranormal stuff all day long.
I can too.
I want to go back. I want to go all the way back to the first part of the guest segment of the show. And if you guys have questions in the chat, throw it in there because this is how I would like to do my guest. No interruptions, no crossover, none of that shit. So go back to your first visit. You've got the pot thrown at you, right? Then you've
Yep.
got the third visit where you had something else
Yep.
happen. So your last visit. So first off, out of the 5 visits, how much time was in between each of those?
So we would try to go back every 3 to 4 months was kind of the split time in between.
Okay.
But we tried to do it. So like the first couple of times, it was like during fall time when we would go to visit because, like you said, it wasn't too hot, too cold, And
perfect.
since that was a building that had no electricity, no heat, no cool.
It's important to go when it's comfortable.
Exactly. Because there was only one time that the head of the group I was part of during that time set up an investigation that was in the middle of winter.
Oh, and then you're freezing your butt off. Like, you can't even move your fingers to move your equipment, right? And at that point,
like,
you're layered up so much, all you're hearing is your jacket.
Right, the crinkling and the boots and
yes.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what were you thinking booking this in the middle of freaking winter when there's like a foot of snow in the back?
And we can't build a fire.
No, can't build a fire in here. That's a fire hazard.
We're going to burn down this old building trying to stay warm.
I had like 2 face masks on. I had gloves on. I had,
my God.
3 layers of coat. And I got big feet. So I have.
So you
big
are
boots.
miserable.
So I'm just like, dude, why? I'm shuffling through here like half speed. I'm like, I don't
Try
want to
being
do
in
this.
Texas in the middle of the summer doing an investigation and sweating your ass off. Like, I don't want to be cold. I don't want to be hot. Like, can we just get something in between? Like, if I need to wear a light jacket because there's going to be a breeze as it gets lighter, gets later,
Right.
I'm okay with that. But I don't want to be sweating my ass off and I got sweat dripping into my eye, right? Did I just see something or not? Like, no. It needs to be comfortable.
There's so many factors at play that you're distracted. You can't focus just on the investigation alone.
Well, and for you, like being a sensitive and an empath, right? Like you're trying to ground yourself and get into a good place. Thank you for the gifts. You want to be in a good place. You want to be calm. You want to be sensitive to the area, right? Because that's a tool for you, right? That's a tool for you when you go investigate. So if you're hot or you're cold and you're trying to maintain some level of comfortness while you're investigating, you're thrown all off.
Right.
You can't do anything.
Yeah. And then it's just like you're vulnerable at that point, for one.
Absolutely.
Your emotions going all over the place. You're in a roller coaster state at that point, and it's like,
you might as well just leave.
Be a good investment.
You might as well just leave because you're not. You can't focus.
Not a good time at the time.
You can't focus. Okay, so you were going back every 3 or 4 months. So when was the last time you were out there? When was your 5th trip out there?
So the 5th trip was actually during the fall at that time too, and that one wasn't as active as the other visits, but it still was the point where you had doors opening and closing, you had footsteps still, and we actually, at this point, got, it was like the motion detection doorbell. It wasn't actually a camera, but it was like something you could bring along for camping, where it had a light and motion activated, where it would have a doorbell sound if something crossed past it.
Nice.
And you would hear that. And from the research we've done and then the times we've been there before, we found out between the first floor and the second floor was like the second floor with the nursing station. So the nurses would always go up and down that floor checking on patients. And there was a report of a nurse that would actually go up and down those stairs.
And you could hear the steps.
And you would hear the steps. So what we did is there's this big window on the south side of the building, and there was a landing there. So we set one of those bells there in that landing between the second and the first floor. So if anything would either walk up the stairs or even walk along that stairway on the second floor, it would hit that motion.
You're going to get it
from the bell, and it would trigger it and it would go off. So me and Rusty were on the second floor going back and forth and trying to test just how close you had to be to this to set it off, or at what angle from the hallway
to get
that
it
you had to be to set it off, just to know, like, would a shadow set it off?
Well, and you also want to know the thing that's setting it off. How close are they, right?
Right. If you're in another doorway from there and you're coming in from there, will that set it off depending on what angle you're at? So we were up there. We were on the west side of the building, and our other female investigators were on the first floor. They were down below us, and we were on the walkies trying to find out where exactly everybody was. I was on the right side of the building. Rusty was on the left, and then the two female were on the first floor. And this thing just kept going off. Every 5-10 minutes, it would go off.
At this point, you're like, is it broken? Is something here? Like,
yeah, is
what's
the
going on?
batteries messed up?
Yeah.
You know, is there something on the camera or on the motion thing that's faulty or whatever, or just dirty? So we cleaned it off. We changed the batteries. Went back into the same area on the left side of the building, sat down. Everybody, all four of us, and it still went off. And I'm like, this is weird now.
Because you've reset it basically.
Right. We changed the batteries, we reset it, we cleaned it, set it in the same spot. It's still going off.
Did you have other pieces of equipment going with it?
Yeah, we had the spirit box going at that time, and then Rusty had some REM pods sitting down on the landing from the first floor, but that wasn't going off at the time until we got out into the hallway and was actually looking at the doorbell motion detector. And right as we were looking at that to make sure nothing was moving in front of it, REM pod
goes off
on the first floor.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, so it wants us to go to the first floor then. So we grabbed our stuff, went down to the first floor, and we're like, okay, we followed you here, so now where do you want us to go? And down in the children's wing, so there's the children's room on the right side and facing north, and then there's like a rec area on the south.
Okay.
And a couple bathrooms, a couple bedrooms in there. The door to the children's room closed. It was standing wide open. Like there's a bolt that was like a lock, one of those you pull down and twist and it unlocks it or lock it. So that was holding the door open.
And then all of a sudden it closed.
Yeah. And I'm like, so you don't want us to follow you into that room, or
you wanted to come down here to shut the door on my face? Is that it? Like,
right.
What's going on?
So it's like, is the nurse in there checking on the kids and doesn't want anyone disturbing them at that time? Or was it something else? So we checked the door over to make sure nothing was loose or faulty that's a solid metal bar holding that door open. You have to pull it down and twist it to unlock it.
Wow. So did you open it back up and wait and see if something else happened?
Yeah.
And?
So then we were sitting in the children's area, and there's a bunch of toys that are laid out along the floor. There's like stuffed animals and bouncy ball, and there's a couple balloons. And I can't remember the girl's name of the spirit that was in there, but she likes this pink balloon that sits in the middle of the floor that she always plays with, and it'll spin.
Oh wow.
And in circles. Like someone just
playing with it
along the floor, playing with it. And we got that. I didn't get that on camera. It was actually Rusty that got that on camera, but it was spinning in clockwise along the floor, like someone just rolling it.
That's
And
crazy.
there's no fans on, there's no windows open, there's no draft.
And it's not like it's just rolling one direction. It's rolling in a
Right. It's
circle.
not. Yeah, it's rolling in a circle.
So what stopped it?
And
Did you like, hey, stop rolling the ball, or did it just stop on its own? Or did it
it stopped
stop?
on its own. Yeah, it did. It stopped on its own, but it happened for a good 5 minutes of just spinning, like someone's rolling it, playing
That's
with it, sitting on the floor.
crazy.
And it's like, okay, that's not creepy. That's just cool,
Yeah.
to me, because you're getting that interaction.
Well, that's when you feel
Uh,
like your investigation's paying off, right? Like you're asking all these
right.
questions because a lot of times you guys that have never been on a paranormal investigation and those of you that like to watch the TV shows, those that 60 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it is with the breaks, is filmed over a
Yep.
period of time. Okay?
Yeah.
So it may be a week, it may be 2 weeks, right? When you become a paranormal investigator, when you go out and start investigating, you're going to sit on your ass forever with nothing,
Yep.
no response. You're going to check your equipment. You're going to make sure it's got batteries, that you did turn it on. You're going to start questioning everything. So the one time you get something that's cool like that, not only you're just like, holy shit, it's working. Oh my God, we got something. Oh, wait a minute,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I need to interact with it real like you get like, I don't know, kind of knocked off your rocker a little bit, right? Like
Right.
I finally got something.
It's like that adrenaline just kind of comes over,
Yes.
and it's like, okay, it's that excitement moment of like, okay, something's actually happening
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there in front of you now.
And now the adrenaline's driving.
Solid. Yeah. Yeah, because it's like you said, a lot of the times, yeah, it is just sitting there and it's waiting for something to happen, trying to talk, reach out and talk to something, ask it to like, knock on something,
Make your presence
close
known.
something,
Yeah, do something.
footstep, something,
Do your
and
EVP
a lot of
burst.
times
Can
you're
you
just
talk to me? Tell me your name. Use your like you're just sitting there
right.
trying to do all this stuff.
Yeah, I've explained to other people that we tried to take out on investigations, even in graveyards, starting out outside first, and it's like it doesn't. There's no guarantee that something's going to actually
Yeah.
happen when we're out here. We could just be walking around, exploring stuff, seeing names on graves, seeing if they'll interact with us when we say their name or talk to them that way, and nothing's happening. Yeah.
Well, and the other crazy part about it, so you guys, like, y'all heard me get on my soapbox last week talking about people talking and hearing snacks. Now you know why I mentioned the snacks, because literally you can be sitting there with nothing going on, snacking, da da da, and somebody's over there
Yep.
trying to do their thing. Yeah, y'all, we get hungry, we get thirsty, we get bored when we don't have anything going on. So that's why if
Yep.
you're going to go someplace and you're gonna, like, normally when I do, like, I'll do some public investigations and have people come, there's one room where you can
Yep.
eat and drink and do whatever you want because there's nothing set up in there except for maybe command center, right? But if you're sitting
Right.
next to me and you're snacking and you're talking while I'm trying to do an EVP session, you may become a ghost yourself. I'm just saying, look.
Right. Yeah, you're interrupting the investigation. Don't do that.
Candy's been on an investigation with me. She's like, we spent so much time in that room. We had a bunch of sweets in there, but we were we were also watching
and
the
that's what I've
cameras.
tried to explain to certain people that haven't been on one like that. It's not like it's like a jukebox or like YouTube or something where you can just pull it up, hit play, and something's going to happen.
You don't get
No.
immediate satisfaction.
And you can't command it to do something. That doesn't work.
That part. If it did, look, if it worked like that, we would already be able to prove stuff, right? Because we'd be able to go,
Right.
okay, so how is it you're able to talk to me? Okay, can you tell me some, like, we'd already be done. Like, this wouldn't be a scientific field for us to be investigating. Like, it'd be done. That's
Right.
the whole
They
fun of
don't
it.
call it a hunt for no reason. It is the hunt that is
It
the
is
exciting part.
the hunt.
Yeah.
The hunt, y'all. The hunt. All right, so you had said in the notes that your aunt comes to visit you. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So she passed away in 2009, very tragically, actually, in Iowa during a blizzard storm. It was January 20th. She actually froze to death.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And ever since that time, I've had mainly actually during dreams, but they don't actually feel like
Like
dreams.
dreams.
They very vivid parts of dreams. Really, it feels more of like I don't
Like a
know,
memory.
visionish almost. Or maybe like an astral projection, outer body type experience
Yeah. Yeah.
type of thing. It just feels that real. It feels that interaction.
Hey, Julia.
You know,
Okay.
and I've had it. I think the very first time that actually happened after her passing was the year after, for 2010 when I graduated high school. Was when I first had that interaction, that dream of where she said that she wished she would have been there actually in person, but she was still there in spirit
And she
for the graduation and
is
during
there in
during the
spirit.
birthday time off. Yeah, and I still kind of felt that. Like I felt that yes, she was still around. She still wanted to be there. She was still proud. But it was that bittersweet type of moment, really.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, I wanted you there really bad too, but circumstances didn't let
Physically, you
that
can't.
happen.
Physically, you can't
Some
be.
some reason, you know, yeah, it's still hard to even actually adjust to that because like there's so many factors that played into how she passed away that
Emotional. Yeah. It's the emotional pieces of it.
very it could have been prevented, I believe, in some ways, but
And that makes it even more tragic.
yeah. Yeah, and the really worst part about all that really was, besides the way she actually died, was all the family at first believed that she was just missing and no one could get a hold of her for 3 days.
So did she have like a
Nobody
normal
knew.
routine with the family? Like did somebody in the family talk to her daily? Like
Yeah.
so
Um,
like how
so,
this is the tragic part of it. So how does that happen where no one is staying in touch with her enough to know like 3 days?
right. So my uncle who passed away actually would have been a little over a year ago now. He passed away to cancer. Uh, that was the one that was married to her. Um, she didn't have a cell phone. That was one thing that I still,
Mm.
for a long time, I had guilt for that. I had guilt for that because it was like during like a holiday of Christmas. I hate Christmas, by the way. But it was during that time of I was the one that was actually supposed to get her that gift and wasn't able to do that at that time.
So now you've got some guilt about it.
Yep. Still carry that with me a lot, even now. But so there was no way of getting a hold of her at that point because she couldn't call out to anyone for help. And my uncle was trying to figure out some way to try to get a hold of her, and he was like calling parts of the family, calling his daughter from his first marriage that my aunt and her had a bond pretty well too, and that's actually originally who she was going to try to go to see in a different town, like an
So
hour
had
and a
she
half
taken
away.
off on like a trip and just hadn't told anybody or was like
It,
do
from
you know
the story,
initially?
I don't know even till the day the full story, but all I knew was that my aunt and uncle had an argument, and she was leaving and going for a drive because that was basically like her way of
Dealing with it. Yeah.
calming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was also going to go and see his daughter from the first marriage to just kind of just get away for like a day, and everything just cool down. Yeah, this happened in Iowa, uh, in my hometown, or actually just outside my hometown, really small town, Grinnell, Iowa. But this was in January, in the middle of an ice storm and blizzard
Mm.
that she took off in that. Yeah, that she took off in this, and winters here suck all the time. Yeah, I hate Grinnell. Hate it. From there, hate it. A lot of reasons behind that. That being one of them. But yeah, for 3 days nobody knew anything. Like we originally thought that she just went to my it would have been like a cousin, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
my uncle's daughter. So yeah, originally thought that she just went there, but like nobody could
Nobody could find
get a
her.
hold of her at that time. Nobody knew. So they sent out a search party. Would have been on the second day. Yeah, on the second day, still couldn't figure out anything going on, and then got a report from a sheriff finding her car, but not finding her out on a country road just outside of Grinnell, stuck in a snowdrift. And this part still even bothers me to the day, and I don't really actually talk about it with my uncle's brother, who's still alive.
Thank you for the favorite.
The brother, the one that actually found my party. Originally, I actually wanted to be a part of that search party, but now I'm actually thankful that I wasn't,
It wasn't meant to be. You
because
weren't supposed to be.
I know and I feel that if it would have been me that would have found her, I would have mentally broke
Well,
more than I
you
even
already feel
did.
guilt for one thing,
Yeah.
right? Like you didn't need to have that hammered in even more.
Yeah. Yep. So
So had her
yeah,
car
no,
ran out of gas or she like it was just the weather like
it was actually a mixture of the weather, and I think it was because of how cold it actually was, and the car being older, the axle actually broke.
so she was
So
literally
the car so
stranded.
lost the steering and stranded. Yeah, couldn't get out. No phone, no help. Went to the closest house along that road, country house, whatever, and knock on the door like 3 in the morning. And older lady that was actually living there wouldn't answer the door.
She was home but didn't answer the door.
Yep. Found out later that the old lady's son was the sheriff.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
So we got all this weather going on. Somebody's knocking at your door and you're not going to open the door. And it's
Yeah.
another female. Like why what the fuck?
Yeah. Felt threatened. Felt scared
Well,
that
the
someone
person on the other
pounding
side
on
of
the
that
door.
door is not only like scared, but is cold, looking for help.
Yeah.
Like what did you think was going to happen? And if you felt scared, why didn't you call 911 so somebody could
Call
have
your
came
son who's the
out?
sheriff. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
There's a lot. Like you can't keep beating yourself up for that. First off, I want you to quit beating
That's
yourself up for
why I
that.
still go to therapy every week, which I'm actually going again tomorrow.
Do you do you do any kind of communication with her? Like do you sit down and intentionally try to have conversation with her?
I haven't for a long time. I think the last time I even attempted that was like 2012.
So it's been a while.
So
Why
yeah,
did you stop?
it really, it's like, yeah, it's like I said, it's that bittersweet. It just feels very emotional when I do it, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep a good headspace while actually doing that.
Well, and
So
maybe it's okay not to, right?
yeah,
Maybe it's okay not to. Maybe you need to. I think you are, and a lot of us struggle with this kind of stuff when we have some kind of guilt, right? And there's nobody here. Like, I haven't told people a lot of stuff of something that happened between me and my brother that I kind of hold some guilt for, but we do beat
yeah,
ourselves up for it, right? And so, in my case, like my brother showing up last weekend, now I can make amends, right? But it's going to
yeah,
be emotional because we hold that guilt. But I think we beat ourselves up over it where, and people are going to think I'm crazy, but you have to remember this is the paranormal chick talking, right? For me, I feel like if I
yeah,
can have a conversation with my brother and find out and talk it out, I will feel better. It's no different than having a
right,
in-person life to life type conversation. it would push me to get past all of that, right? So I think you need to get yourself in a place where you are focused and you're grounded and you're good, right? And
Yeah.
you feel like you don't have to worry about anything else. I think you have a conversation with her, right? And you let all those emotions out. Like you've got to open the flood. You've got to let it out or it's going to keep
Yeah.
building up, right? And it's going to get worse. She said this was what, 2014? So 11 years now that you've been beating yourself
Yeah,
up.
it was in 2009 when she actually did pass. So
So have a conversation with her and let the floodgates open, right? Like release all of that and have a conversation with her and get, I don't want to get in too deep in it because it's personal for you, but have that conversation and ask those questions, say what you need to say to her. We're investigators, we know how to make this happen, right?
right.
Have those conversations, have that connection with her. Clear your conscience of that because let me tell you what's going to happen. On the other side of that, she's already protecting you, right? But on the other
Yep.
side of that, for me with my dad's on the other side to help me with stuff. My dad protects me from stuff from the other side. Okay? You're not asking your aunt to help you that because you're still dealing with that guilt.
Right.
So get yourself to a point, journal if you need to before you're ready for that session, right? Write down some questions, write down how you feel. What do you want out of the session? And as you know, she may not come the first time, and she might. And
Right.
she might have emotions about it too, right? So let yourself have that. Open yourself up for signs. I don't know what your aunt's name is, but Aunt Jane, can you give me some
Vicky.
signs? Okay, Vicky. So Aunt Vicky, can you
Yeah.
give me some signs that you're here with me? Right? Start off with that. And then I'd like to have a conversation with you. And then do your EVP, do if you get your obvious, whatever you want to do that, and then allow yourself to have that conversation. Let the floodgates open. Be at one with
Yeah.
yourself. And then you're still working therapy on the guilt too. So between the two, I think you'll be in a better place by the end of the year. And I think you're going to be to a point where when you're investigating, hey, and I do it, everybody's seen me when I do my pendulum in here. Hey, daddy, are you here? When I go on my
Right.
investigations, hey, daddy, are you here? You're going to be able to do that. And now you've got somebody from the other side helping you and protecting you, right? So you've kind of done yourself a disservice all these years, right? Not wanting to deal with it. So take a
Yeah.
moment and deal. I'm getting teary eyed about it. Take a moment and deal with it. Like, trust me. Trust me on this one. It would make you feel better. You're already going through the proper steps with the counseling, but when it comes to
Yep.
loved ones, right? And it's going to teach you, this is going to be your first opportunity, right, to have a loved one on this. Someone you trust, right? You know how to ask
Yep.
questions to make sure it's Aunt Vicky, right? So this is your first opportunity to have somebody on the other side to help you with stuff. And we are at heart investigators, right? So if you
Yep.
trust this person on the other side, trust them to protect you when you go investigate, you're going to start getting a little bit more. I told the story, what was it, last week or the week before, about my dad showing up in the middle of that jail when I felt like everything was really heavy, right?
Yeah, that was last week. I
Like
was in here for that. Yep.
literally the lights came on and I saw my dad and then the lights went off. You
Wow.
want those moments. You want those moments, right? So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up about it. Have a chit chat with her, and just feel better about it. Like it's not paranormal is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know because of all the experiences that I've had. Like there's been a lot of conversations I've gotten to have with my dad. Now I get to have a conversation with my brother, right? Like and you're sensitive on top of that. So
Yep.
we get to take advantage of these tools in these times to mend fences with loved ones that have passed, right? And we get to use them to our advantage when we go investigate. Not everybody can have that. So definitely, I'll be thinking about you on that front because I think for me, literally every time I go out, I ask if my dad's there. And I know my
Yeah.
dad's got it. I know I've got my dad there protecting me. I've got another story I should probably tell you guys at some point about my other protector and how I found him. And I know when I go out, I know if my dad's there, it's going to be a crazy night. Okay. If my other protector is there, not so bad. If they're both there, I'm dealing with some shit that night. And so that's how I start my investigation. Dad, are you here? Adolphus, are you here? And if I get both of them, and my whole team knows, oh shit, we're in for a rough night, right? You want to be able to have that too when you go investigate. And that
Yeah.
way, not only are you saying your prayers of protection or doing your crystals or whatever you're doing to set your boundaries, but
I
Aunt
got
Vicky, can you help me too?
the rosary beads and cross there on the wall over there. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you've got something on the other side. And you can also come up with, so my dad and I have, so when I do the pendulum readings, my dad and I have a little sign that we do too when I'm out on investigations that I know it's my dad. So when I'm out on
Okay.
investigations and I'm like, Dad, am I okay? Or Dad, this, Dad, that, right? The pendulum only swings certain ways, but we have it make a
Right.
certain thing for me so I know. Guess what? You can have it too. But you've got to get yourself, you've got to work past the guilt and, ask for that forgiveness and have that conversation. And when you're ready to have it, you'll have it. And then afterwards, talk about a roller coaster ride. Just wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I don't know if anybody else, I mean, I have like mediums that I work with and that kind of stuff, and they talk about spirits, my spirit guide. I have a guardian
Yeah.
angel. I have a guardian, literally have a guardian angel, right? I have a spirit that protects me, but I have a guardian angel. You do too. So let her do her work for you.
I
And
still honestly, I think she even actually does, even without me saying
oh, she
anything or
does.
thinking about it. That just,
She does. She does.
where it's just like that gut feeling and that other just shift in energy of like, okay, something's not right. She's pulling me back. I hear this. I know this is what's going on. Red flag alert. Get out of there. Yeah.
It's that empath. It's that sensitive. So put
Yep.
yourself in a good space with it. Like, I didn't mean for it to go this emotional, but being there, like, I believe that people cross paths for a reason. You and I
Yeah.
connected for a reason, right? So I'll be curious to see and watch as you start working on this, what happens by the end of the year. Especially if we get to go to Waverly
Yeah.
this year and Aunt Vicky's there, right? Like, how cool would that be?
Oh, it would be amazing. I've wanted to go to Waverly for so long, of like seeing it on scariest places on earth, and then YouTube after that, and doing research of this. Like,
It's
I don't know.
intimidating.
I've just always been drawn to it.
It is so when I
Oh,
pulled up and
it's
we
a
saw it,
massive building.
I was just like, you hear everything about it and you get on the property, you're just like, I'm here, we're doing this. Like,
Right.
I can't, my Uber dropped me off. I can't turn around. Like,
Like, yeah, there's no backing out now. This is happening. Yeah.
but it wasn't as intense as I expected. And there were a lot of people there. There was probably about 100 people there. So we had that
Okay.
going on too. But we did have some experiences. We did have a lot of experiences while we were there. And I do want to go back with a smaller team so that we can separate and
Hmm.
not hear everybody else's experiments and all that kind of crap. So
Right.
I don't know. I think it would be fun to go back. We got to stream it the first time, but it was so loud. It was kind of hard to really do anything. So just to go back and stream and have, even if it's all of us streaming, right? And
Yeah.
people can pop back, back and forth in between the different streams. Like we have stuff set up, everybody's in different places, right? Everybody can see what's going on. And it's a live stream investigation like no other, right? Like if there's 10 of us there and we're streaming, you're getting 10 different
Right.
views of that investigation. And you pop around
Oh,
where you want.
absolutely. And then even just like comments saying it's like, well, I see something in this screen in this dream, and this is on this floor in this room, and yeah,
Or they can pop in
like
and be like, hey, Kraken, Rocker's over here and they're getting some activity. We think you need to go there. Like,
right,
okay, like, we pop in each other's streams all the time. But to be able to, and I really want this to be like something really cool that we can do on live stream, right? And be like, hey, in September, we're going to Waverly Hills. There's 10 of us going. We're going to make this big deal out of it. You can watch simultaneously as all 10 of us are investigate. Like, let's make it a big deal because
right.
everybody's either scared of the paranormal, interested in it. There's not enough of it on this app. Now that I'm back, I'm starting to find everybody like I'm pretty like I want to do something cool and big for everybody to come in, and then we'll be the ghost crew. We'll just be the ghost crew,
Right.
and maybe we
Yeah,
do it every
I'm
year.
part of like it was just another group of friends, which it turned out not to be so great, and it only lasted about 2.5 year ghost group, but then that head guy that was part of it, he split off and did his own thing and has his
Paranormal
own
pals.
paranormal group out of Iowa now too. But it's whatever, you know. I still had fun while it lasted.
Well,
Still
and the
went to
thing
a
is,
lot of
you'll meet
cool
people.
locations.
So for me, like I have my team here, and like we're not like a official team. Everybody lives all over Texas,
Mm,
and so when we have something come up with a client case, it's not like we're all here in Dallas, right? We're all over the place, and so we work together
right,
that way. So if we have a client case, we'll do some distance reading, we'll do some of that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to meeting with a client and actually helping solve stuff, we will find a way to either get each other here or we'll link up with
right.
other teams that are in the area. Like I don't have like you'll see a lot of people just have a team and only these 5 people go out. No, like I have people from other teams that we work together and we work
Right.
with our own teams, right? And so that's like the best way to do it. And when we
I mean,
started
that's like what
NPS,
one of the first ones I ever watched was like Ghost Hunters and Taps. That's what Taps did a lot of the time. They
mm-hmm,
had expansions
mm-hmm.
of teams from other locals or
Well, and you
extended
want the
family.
best experienced people in the area that you need. Like I'm good at research, but I'm not the best at like researching history on stuff. I know who to go to for
Sure.
that, right? And one of the intentions when we built NPS was for people of the paranormal to come together. So you're up north, I'm down south. Hey, you may know more stuff
Yep.
than me. Let's chit chat about it, right? So we work together. I do a lot of consulting is what I call it. Like I consult with people on stuff. I know certain
Yeah.
things. I run photo and video for NPS, so I might be able to get you to a photographer that can look at your stuff, right? It was a connection of people and people working together because we had a lot of people that were um, on teams not doing such great stuff. And we wanted to be able to provide those of us that are pointed in our stuff, like you. We want to document everything. We want to go back 3 or 4 or 5, 10 million times, right? And we want to document this stuff. We want to be able to prove that there is life after death, that there is something to this. And you've got some people that go out there and they just do it for the thrill and for the fun. So we
Yeah.
tried to start pulling together those of us that know stuff. Like the people in NPS are amazing. A lot of people know more stuff about whatever than me. When I get ready for the shows, I'm messaging some of my NPS heads and being like, hey, can you help me with a little bit of this while I'm building my show? I want to
Right.
cover this. So you start having a network. You're building a network. So I think being on here and people finding out, like when I first came on and started talking about ghosts, people thought I was crazy. But I have a featured show about it now. So my
Yeah.
crazy's really showing now, right? But everybody else feels comfortable coming in with their crazy. So now we're creating a network and we're talking about equipment and we're talking about ghost hunting, right? It's becoming more of a norm. We've got all the stuff with UFOs coming out now, right? So why aren't we talking
Right.
about this more? So I love having this show. I love running across people. I don't know how you and I met, but I'm glad you ended up in my stream, right? Because now I'm like, I'm not the only crazy person on here.
I originally heard about it actually from Alice. Was she was talking about it in one of her streams of like knowing you and then knowing about the featured show and knew that I talked about paranormal stuff all the time, even in there, and told her about the equipment I've gathered over the years. And she goes, you got to go into that show and you got to go watch it and check it out more and actually be a guest. And then that's when I got a hold of Lugs. And I was like, yeah, I want to
Yeah,
be part of this.
yeah,
So,
I love it. I freaking love it. Thanks for the faves, you guys. Like I'm so glad. See, we're already networking through the app, and we don't even we don't even know it.
yeah.
We don't even know it. I met Alice. I met Alice through Kitty, I think. And then when I found out she had a Camaro, I was like, holy shit! Somebody else has a bitchin' Camaro. Bond, Bond. I was running a car show on here. She and Bart were my first guest on my car show because they have Camaros. Kind of, partial to Camaros, but yeah, I freaking love Alice. But I love popping around and meeting people on the app. And when people start talking about ghosts, I'm like,
Yeah.
talk about aliens. I want to know, like anything in the paranormal. I want to know. And there's probably a ton of people on this app that I still need to have up. Yeah, I haven't changed it. I'm going to change it when I get off because it's a pain in the ass. And I'm still doing my after show, so it's not my official picture, so they can't really yell at me. If it took them 6 months to message me when I took my break to ask me how my show was, and I'd already been doing it for 4 weeks, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
I'll stick the ghost on them. How's that? I'll just do that. But no, I definitely want to have you back on, and we can talk about some more stuff. So definitely get with Legs on that. The 7th is going to be the Paranormal Roundtable. So I'll have
That's
you
going to
and
be cool.
Cosmo. When is Mikey on again? I think Mikey's on in a couple weeks. Might have Mikey on there, and Danny. And you know Danny, Flirty Danny. So we'll have Danny on here too. So I think between the five of us, we all have different areas. We live in different areas. We're all at different levels within our experiences. So I think it would be fun. And then in every
Right.
show, and Lugs, I'll ask you and Kane and Kevin as the bouncers of the show to kind of keep up with when people are asking questions. Because I record it on one of my iPads. Lugs records it, and then I record the show from my YouTube channel too, right? So my this recording on here doesn't get the comments and stuff, right?
Right.
I do the one on my iPad, so if I get big gifts or want to, highlight like somebody leveling up, I do that. And then I use Lugs's recording to go through and watch the show and read the comments.
Okay.
So what I'll end up doing, I'll probably make a graphic for it and just tell people come in and like throw some questions at us or send it to me on IG, send it to Lugs. And then we'll go from that and I'll probably pick like the top 10 questions or the more popular questions that people ask. And that's what we're going to talk about in the
Right.
roundtable. And then I'll give it to you guys ahead of time so y'all are prepared. And then that way all we're going to do is from start to finish talk about questions and do like this paranormal roundtable. So I think that would be cool. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that
And
is
maybe
cool.
we do it like every 6 weeks and say, hey, if you guys have like Mikey's got an attachment going on, right? Hey, if you've got issues going on, pop into the show. It'll be the one time that we'll pull, from the comments and stuff. And so I want to kind of start
Right.
doing something like that where we can help people. Yeah. If you, yeah,
Yeah, some attachments are okay, and others are just
no.
they're plain annoying, or they can just really be negative to your life and affect a lot of worse things. By far, I think my opinion of one of the worst attachments would be like the mimics.
Hmm.
By far, one of the worst. Either a shadow figure or a mimic. Ones you don't want around.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I think opening up this roundtable allows us to answer questions and help people sort through what to do, right? Like we talked about the steps, a little bit tonight about demonology, but I think bringing our expertise together will help. And if we don't
Right.
know, we know people, right? And I don't want
Yep.
people out here on the app coming in my show and being like, oh, we're going to go ghost hunting. And now you're fucking up shit right when you're out. No, come in here and ask
Yeah.
us questions. Like, we're going to have
Yeah.
one
Even when
Sunday
I
with a
was
paranormal roundtable. Come in here and ask your questions.
Yeah, even when I was part of that small group of it was just local friends or friends from like the next town over that were also interested in paranormal. We kind of created like a little group to that of starting out ghost hunting, and other people caught wind of that and was interested in it and wanted to try to go out and see what it was all about, but didn't know a lot about it. Same thing I said to Rusty because I had a little bit more experience on it than what he did. Like
Night Kitty.
if we're going to take somebody out for this, let's not take them in a building. Let's take them to like a graveyard,
Something a
somewhere
little more
not so
controllable.
big, but right. And, if they felt uncomfortable or just completely panicked and wanted to run away or whatever, run back to the vehicle or whatever, they can feel that they have that escape route to just get out of there,
Well, and if it's their first
or,
time going out and you take them into a big building, they're going to start feeling claustrophobic. Something's going to
yep,
happen. Like they're not going to everybody thinks you go out, you have this paranormal. It's like doing the ghost adventures or whatever. Like it's not going to be like that. And you're going to get to
no,
the
it's
point if
not.
you do go out for something, you may literally freak the fuck out. So if we take you to a
Yeah.
cemetery first, right, and get you acclimated outside, like you said, you can run, you can do this. But if you take them to a building first, they start freaking out.
Oh, they'll freak
Then,
out.
well, they'll freak out. The spirits will freak out. You might piss off
Yep.
some spirits. So now we've got activity that we didn't want.
Yep.
So
It's
no,
going to
that's super
spiral
smart.
bad.
That's super smart. And I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
guys right now, the best place to start is just go do a ghost tour. Go to your local city's ghost tour. Go on the ghost tour. You
Yes.
get the history. They'll tell you about experiences. You might have a little bit of an experience. It's in a controlled environment. It's a lot better. And then if you feel like you
Yep.
can handle it, find a local team. Go hang out with them. And if you need help with that, NPS, we've got teams all over all 50 states. So
Yeah.
and international at this point. But it's just one of those things like you got to baby step in it. You can't be like, I'm gonna go rent out Waverly and shit. Do you know what those ghosts, if you don't know what
No.
you're doing, those spirits are going to have a fucking heyday with you. It's going to be Six Flags for
Yep.
them. And you're
You're
going to
going
be
to be
like,
target number one.
you are the weakest
Yeah.
link.
Yep.
You'll have
And
all sorts of stuff happen
I've
you don't
searched,
want to have happen.
I've searched this guy. My dad actually originally found him because he watched a lot of paranormal stuff too. Partly how I learned a lot more about it. And there's a guy actually in Iowa called Midwest Ghost Hunter, and he goes to Iowa and then goes all over Midwest and investigates. But the thing that I actually strongly disagree with, but he goes to each location of investigating, but he goes by himself.
No.
Just him.
No.
And he has, little bits of equipment that he brings with him, and he has his phone, extra batteries, and then some of his equipment, but it's just him. It's just him by himself recording. And I'm just like,
What happens if you
breaking,
fall or
you're
get
breaking one of the
hurt?
biggest,
Yes.
you're breaking one of the biggest rules of all. Going to these places by yourself like that, you're putting yourself at major risk.
Well, on so many different levels,
mentally.
right? So many different levels, because you don't know if something's going to start affecting you. You're not going to know it. I mean, you might, but you might not. But if somebody's with you and starts seeing that you're acting really weird, might just save you. Like, you guys think that we're just like bullshit, and it's not bullshit. Like, if you start fucking, and like I said on the show, demonic possession doesn't happen a lot. It's very rare, but it does happen.
Right.
It does happen.
But it happens gradually at points, but it's going to change over that time. Yeah.
And people's personalities will change.
Sometimes they even, they'll choose that they just want to skip completely over infestation and go right to oppression.
And if you piss them off,
and then it's right to possession. Boom. Yeah.
And if you got nobody around when this is happening and you're provoking them, you're fucked.
Yep.
You're fucked.
Yeah. Oh, provoking I will never do in any situation, any building. No.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go do Zach Baggins on stuff. Come and get me.
No. No. If the person I'm with wants to do that, I'm just going to shove them in front of me.
Yeah, you have fun with that. You have fun. You go take that over there. Look, that wasn't me. I'm telling all the spirits right. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Now I'll provoke to the point where it's like, hey, did you just touch me? Don't touch me again.
Right. Yeah, you don't have the permission.
Why did you just touch me again?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be like, hey, push me down the stairs. Come scratch me. Come pull my hair. No, hell no. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
That scratch hurts and it burns. So.
Well, and you know what? Once you've done that, like, you've just put a target on your back, right? Because you don't know that they're not going to follow you home and do it some more. Well, you challenged me.
Yeah, biggest way to get an attachment and invite it at that point.
Yeah, and that's something else. I need to probably cover that on the show too. Is how you can do unintentional stuff and intentionally invite something and not know that you did it. Again, why you want to go out with seasoned investigators. Again, why I want to do this roundtable.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know if I did or didn't bring something along with me spiritually wise, but the shirt I'm wearing is actually from Farrar Schoolhouse in Iowa, about half an hour away from Bondurant, Iowa, which is just like a suburb of Des Moines, capital. But when I was in Farrar Schoolhouse investigating, and I was in an area where it's like an auditorium and a stage, wooden stage, when I was walking along the stage with my camera and headlamp, I saw this sticking out of the wooden stage guitar pick. I'm a musician and play.
That's crazy.
Guitar as well. I found this sticking up in between two boards sideways like this. And I picked it up and took it with me out of the building. And it has two names on it on the back of it's Jennifer and Arrow. I don't know who these people are.
Have you done any research on it?
I want to go. Yeah, I did. And I didn't find a lot of information into it, but I actually want to go back and do an EVP session or a spirit box session.
And ask.
And see if I can get them to come through and actually answer whose guitar pick is this? Why was it there? Who left it? But I felt that was a sign when I
Yeah.
found that and I saw that, they wanted me to find this. They wanted me to pick this up and take it because somehow they knew I play guitar.
That is nuts, though. Okay, so you say that you think that you might have brought something back with it.
Yeah, uh, because afterwards, when I got out, like this is one of the flashlights that I use on the investigation, just one I got from Walmart,
It's a little push
and it
light.
has where you have to press down
Yeah.
to actually turn it on to have the different settings. So I had this on my wrist, just kind of just hanging like that, and it will turn on its own.
See,
And you have to
okay.
press.
Do you remember when everybody would tell you to do the flashlight experiments and you had like the little mini mag lights and you'd have to like turn them and
Mm-hmm.
set them? So I have gotten out, well, we use them around the house for like regular stuff, right? But not for ghost hunting.
Right.
But I like the push button flashlights because to me, like when you're twisting the flashlight, it can just connect on its own. Like if you just twist it enough. But if it's a push
Yes.
light and the light comes on, it's a completely
Yeah.
different story.
You know something's pressing that. You know that's yeah. Yeah, and I just had it hanging there. I wasn't even touching the light, and it turns on.
So
I
you're
was
like,
like,
okay, can we
all
turn it
right,
off?
okay.
Turn
Yeah,
off, turn on, turn off, turn on.
I'm about an hour away from Farrar. Actually, well, yep.
Look at all you guys are all look. Y'all are all in the same little area. We were talking
Yep.
about doing stuff together. See how this works?
So there's Farrar, there's Malvern, which is not far from that area as well. That's a
30
Malvern
minutes.
Manor on the location. 30 minutes from it? Okay.
So we're gonna have a team up in Iowa. Do I need to come visit?
If you've never been in that building, the one place that's the most uncomfortable above all is just off to the left of the auditorium basketball court area where there's like a janitor type storage room, and then there's a boiler room area and then a closet for other storage off to the left. Once you cross that threshold from the hallway into the door of the boiler room, you can just feel that
Wow.
negative entity walking through there.
Lugs, he's been in here before. He's cool. Mr.
Yeah,
Pervert.
I've actually been in there with a couple other investigators, and I got so uncomfortable and physically affected by it that I actually got physically sick
Oh, see?
coming out of that room.
Dar's saying he gets a weird feeling going by it.
I haven't, but yeah. Do you look on the third floor window when you're driving by and just getting that weird feeling? Right side of the building? Yep. Do you know why? Or would you want to know why? Okay, so there's a little boy that has claimed to actually have passed away there, or appears as a little boy that likes to hide in that classroom in this cupboard that still sits in that classroom, or did when I was there until the new owners bought it and did restoring and remodeling to it. Sam and Colby, that's actually
Mm-hmm.
investigators on YouTube, bought that now. But I personally don't believe that little boy is a little boy.
That's why I started
I don't think
asking you
it's a little
earlier.
boy. I don't think it's a little boy.
Need to do
I
some
think
testing
it
on it.
poses as a little boy, but I think it's a negative entity. I think it's something more than just a
Well, and they
little boy.
always will present as like a child or as children.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder, have you
Yeah.
had paranormal experiences? We probably let's get with Thunder and see if Thunder wants to come on the show. You tell me I saw it. Well, we need to talk about
It's highly possible.
we need to talk about demons because
very
there's all sorts of levels of demons. There's lower level demons and it goes on up. So I probably need to cover that maybe next time we talk about demonology. Because when you talk demon, everybody thinks, TV, movies, like these bad demons. No, there's hierarchies to all
Yep.
of that as well. And you
They
can
have
get rid of a lower
legions
level
and
demon.
levels.
Yeah, you can get rid of a lower level demon pretty easily. Now, when it starts getting more and they're starting to try to impress the hierarchy, it gets to be completely different.
Mhm.
Yeah, thunder.
Yep.
Matter of fact, let me make sure I've got thunder. Flawless boy, get in the box. Let me see your skin, bitch. I love fucking trolls. All right, I got thunder faved. Yeah, I'd love to have Thunder on talk to her too. Thank you, Lugs. Fuck around and find out in my stream.
Marengo? I'm not far from Marengo.
See, y'all all need to get together.
Yeah.
Juliet, you know how I love my trolls in here.
I've actually investigated graveyards in Marengo. So Colfax, Marengo.
That's crazy. Y'all are all so close together. Okay, are y'all all faving each other?
Hey, I can, yeah. Make sure I do.
Make sure y'all connect. Thunder message Lugs. Make sure you favorite Lugs. Find him on IG. I want to get you on the show.
Because, yeah, I started out investigating in Grinnell, hometown, and then I went from there to Newton to Colfax and Mitchellville and Marengo, and yeah.
Pervert, why does you being 18 have anything to do with it? If you're over 13, I'll take you out on an investigation. A lot of teams usually will. No, well, you don't have to have money to go to a graveyard. The
Nope,
best equipment
that's
that you
free.
have is your body.
Mm-hmm.
You do black screen. Well, you know what, Thunder? Maybe we can do some type of AI type of thing for you to be in the box. We can talk to Cosmo. Because I think Cosmo uses
Oh, yeah.
OBS.
High school? Yeah.
Especially when it rains. Yeah, the water.
Yep. Colfax has two cemeteries. There's one that's actually in the town that's fairly active, not overly active. And then there's one that's about 3.5 miles out of Colfax in the country. And that was by far one of the most active graveyards I've ever been in.
That's crazy.
And there's no time limit on like when you can be there. There's no like curfew. There's no gate lockup.
Open.
It's just, yeah, it's an open country cemetery.
Wow. Sometimes those are the best ones. Especially if they're older.
Yeah,
I like the older ones.
Not one you're expecting to drive up to it to get out to think nothing's going to happen at the time. And this was summertime when we were out for this, and driving up to it, and it's like down a bank of a hill and kind of like ditch and hill, and going around this curve to go to pull into it. And just from going around that curve, I saw a fire going.
What?
And I'm like, look at the time. It's midnight. And this is in the middle of the country. Like, yeah, there's like a highway off to it, or side highway. And saw a fire going. Told the guys that I was in the car with, I'm like, there's a fire going in the middle of the graveyard. Why is there a fire going in the middle of the graveyard? I'm not getting out of the car unless I know there's like nobody around, So looking out the window, pulling up closer to it, seeing the fire still going, there was nobody around.
That's crazy.
But there was still a fire going.
Makes no sense.
Like kind of like they're like burning off grass or like burning off crop.
Yeah.
There's the plant, there's the corn off to the left of the cemetery, but there's nobody tending to the fire.
It's just burning.
It's just going. Yeah.
Did you call the fire department or anything? You were just like, I'm the fuck up out of here.
Yep. I'm just like, I'm not walking through this and investigating this at this time. No, because I'm not trusting that there's not somebody still either out here
Well,
or
like
in
a
the
physical
field.
person out there to
Right,
hurt you. That's when you got to start worrying about it.
right.
So
Oh, I always
did the
take
fire
something
department
to
come
protect
out?
myself anyway. Yeah, and they put it out, but they were just as confused as we were.
Because usually, like, they can
How?
tell how it started, or
Yeah,
whatever.
but there's
Dumbfounded.
no indication of like tire tracks. There's no indication of footprints.
It's not like it was raining
There's
and
no
thunderstruck and caused a fire. Like,
no.
there
It
were
was a
no
clear
other
night.
burning ashes anywhere that could have just like flown in there. That
No.
is crazy.
Yeah, I
That's
was
very
like,
weird.
this is a sign that we're going to turn around. We're going to go somewhere else
Like, I'm out.
because yep, I'm done.
I'm out.
I'm gone.
Toot, 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 toot.
I'm not going to spontaneously combust in the middle of a graveyard.
No.
Sorry.
And
That
you know what? If is that the sign for me not to come back? Got you. Have a great
yep,
life.
message received. Yep, I'll go find
Out.
another graveyard.
I am out. That is a hell nah.
Yeah,
That is a hell to the
yeah, I
fuck
saw that
nah.
and like, no. Yeah.
That's
That
crazy.
cemetery, and then there's one between Newton and Colfax, I think it is. It's called Ashton Cemetery, and it has a church in the front, and then cemetery, and then there's a campground back behind the cemetery, which is the weirdest setup I've ever seen
That is weird.
for anything like that. You can't actually get in the church. I tried, but it's locked up.
I
I
tried.
see a haunted. I see a haunted church. Don't expect me to not try to get in the building.
I mean,
You know, I'm an investigator. I
we're
want to
not
know
doing
what's in
anything
it.
illegal. We're not doing anything illegal. We're not condoning that.
No,
But
I didn't see any trespassing signs. I
but
didn't see any. You know.
that's just
Oh, I
nuts.
wanted to go camping there 100%. Still do, because I like camping. You know, and it's only just a walk from the
Just
campground
don't
to
go by
the
yourself.
cemeteries.
Just don't go by yourself.
No. I'm not. I'm brave. I'm not stupid. So,
Don't go by
yeah,
yourself. You guys, we can
yeah.
do all
I
sorts of
won't.
stuff, but
No,
don't go by yourself.
because if I'm like laying